Hey guys, so I just got here and it seems really busy. Like the car park's absolutely rammed. I've literally just like squished on the end. So we're gonna go inside the model show, St. Ives model show. It says it's like the largest one in East Anglia. I've got here a bit late. It's 11:30. It opened at 10, but it's a 3-hour drive for me and I need good sleep. So let's go in, have a look at the show. So straight off from the entrance then we have models for heroes, and this is always a really good display, a lot of variety around, and of course it's all for a good cause as well, which is, lovely to see in modelling. I really enjoyed the non-military aspects of this display most of all. For example, this beautiful Japanesey style house, and then there's this Chernobyl project, which obviously is more on the military side. But then right next to that we have Minion stuff, which is adorably silly, and some Shaun the Sheep stuff. I think it's Shaun the Sheep, if that's still what it goes by. I don't know if there's another title at this point with the pig as well. But yeah, it's adorable. So following on immediately after that, we've got Leicester modelers. Now I can see a couple of things here that I've shown before, for example that diorama that's rotating in the middle, but I tried to highlight things I don't think I've highlighted before. The vibrancy and colour on Grayskull is astounding. The purple looks insane. And then we have Earthworm Gen, something I'd long forgotten about. This skeleton which cat-like flopping around as like the table slightly moved. And this Horton HO229, which I think we have seen before. So straight after that we have Wisbeach. I'm so sorry if I'm butchering the name of your club, but yeah, Wisbeach IPMS. Again, a lot of variety on display, a lot of aviation focused stuff, but then colourful stuff like this Dragonfly. Dragonfly Scorpion hybrid. Then we've got this lesser spotted woodpecker, which is an Airthex model that looks absolutely stunning. And of course, the Angel Interceptor from Captain Scarlet. I always have to take a picture of them. And a Fokker as well, looking very dapper, I must say. And we're now over to the airliner SIG. There'll be a couple of airliner SIGs, and for some reason I didn't take a picture of the P8. In my head I had it that I've taken a picture of it before, but I don't think I have. I think I've done the same thing before as well. Now we are going through them a bit quicker, but you're going to have a look at Concorde and the Vickers a bit closer up. So here we can see Concorde and this beautiful BOAT colour scheme, which I think looks absolutely stunning. And this Vickers Vanguard here, just looks really at home, really, doesn't it? And this is a Lockheed Jetstar as well. We're now over to IPMS River Hall. This is a very patriotic table setting. I like it. I think it wasn't always the best for photos, so I will say. But yeah, we've got this Heinkel 280, which is a competitor to the ME262. We've also got this Blenheim, the short nose one, so the Mark 1, which looks awesome. Enterprise here, flashing away, looking fabulous. Really liked this. Looked really well weathered as well. And then we've got this really dynamic, I want to say Firebrand, but after that torpedo's gone, we've got a Bismarck here on the calm ocean. But now we're over to Brampton. Of course, our display was front and centre, and it was a really unique display. It was focused on the Victoria Cross. Every single model had a story behind it. Something you need to come and see for yourself, spend time reading it. I be honest, I didn't read everything. I didn't really have time because it was there, a lot of it to try and get around and show everyone who couldn't necessarily be there and for its show. But honestly, an absolutely stunning display, extremely unique. I don't know if I've ever seen a full display of this. It really looks stunning. I did get a shot of it all just together. I think I missed some of it, but I saw the centre of it. And there is one model in particular that did really take the show for me, which is this, I think it's a Beaufighter, just really dynamic. We're now heading over to the DC-3 and C-47 SIG. This has apparently been recently resurrected. Obviously that South African one is the one that caught my eye because it's just so colourful. Just look at that. It looks awesome. After that, we're off to Bedford and District Model Club. There are a couple of pieces here that I think were absolutely eye-catching, but we're going to go through them all in a minute, so don't worry too much about it. This first of all is a Bristol 138A, which is a research aircraft followed by this half track where we can see the German troops running towards their opposition. There's A10 presumably coming in for a strafing run. I wonder if this diorama is going to be built up more. And of course this Mercedes, which just looked ridiculous, like in the best possible way ridiculous though. And there are also some kids models there, which I thought was amazing. It's always important to show that youth are welcome in this hobby. You can see the blue of Milton Keynes Model Club now, and this display I couldn't quite get to, so I always try and be like as non-invasive as I can with my camera work. So you'll see a couple of bits that might be cuts, or I've just had to zoom to the end of the table because I don't want to interrupt people who are enjoying the show. But yeah, I got most of it in. I think one thing on this table like really stood out to me. So first of all, this, like I think the Napoleonic figure, Jesus just being a chill dude, just made me laugh. And this dragster, I can feel the heat and intensity from it. We're now heading over to scale racing lines, and I did make sure I can see which one each car is that I've taken a picture of, because we all know cars are not my strong point. There will be a couple later on that I do refer to as, oh, that car. So this is a McLaren F1 GTR. I just love the paint scheme on it. This had a really unique shape, and it's a Brabham BT34. And how could I say no to a Fiat 806 GP? After this, we're heading over to the What If SIG. So anything you want to make fictional, you know, it can be as simple as just an aircraft that's in service with someone who didn't have it, or you can just modify an aircraft to be whatever you want. Again, I've tried to do things I haven't shown before because I have shown a lot of these before. The What If SIG is fantastic, but today it was this Nat of the Lebanese Air Force that really caught my eye, along with this twinned monstrosity of like 1947 Luftwaffe and this Chilean vampire, which just looked really nice and looked right. We're now heading over to Coventry and Warwickshire IPMS, one that we've seen many times in these videos when we go to all the different shows. No different to any other time as well. The display was really vibrant and varied. It was lovely. You see the airplanes at the end, which may or may not be my favourite thing on this display. Again, I think I've shown these before, but they just look amazing. And if you haven't seen the previous videos, just if that doesn't inspire, I don't know what will. And this really tiny F-18 was gorgeous. Like, I can't do anything that small. We're over now with Big Sky Scale Modelers. We saw these at Boscombe Down actually, and I really loved them, and I realised that they are one of the clubs I didn't know the name of for this diorama when I was at the Milton Keynes model shows. I was glad to actually put a name to them, because this diorama is probably one of my favourite dioramas all time, and this is a Hawk Hunter of the Indian Air Force getting ready for takeoff, which also looks great. And of course, a tribute to Ukraine is also present. Following this then, we are heading over to North Essex Modelers Club. I will say this was one of the most professional displays out there in terms of everything looked really well laid out, thought of, the use of levels, but I mean, South African Hawk in South African colours looks amazing, and this CC3005 Target Tug as well, and this is a USS Card from 1943. We're now over to IPMS Rutland. This has, I'm gonna say, what I think is my favourite model of this show. It's not gonna win the cuteness award, but by gum it will win the most creative award. You might think you've seen it already. No honey, you haven't yet. And I don't think I've seen it at a show before. I don't know if it's brand new, but they took it to the front so I could take some pictures of it. Obviously, we're looking at a couple of really awesome things now, but I'm just really excited for you to see this, and I'm laughing because it's a ridiculous thing. Also, love seeing missiles, never see enough of them. But after Serious Soldier, are you ready for Postman Pat? Postman Pat? Yeah, honestly, what the hell? But like, this is so beautifully cast, I adore it. Now over to Peterborough Scale Model Club. Again, lovely layout. It's a quite heavy military focus, but there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. You've got to do whatever you love doing in modelling. I actually just took away two of the model aircraft from this, which is this Yellowjack, which a Nat in Yellowjack's colour I thought was just beautifully done, and a Supermarine Swift, which I don't know, for some reason I'm just in love with the Swift at the moment. And this trainer collection as well looked awesome. We're now heading over to IPMS Hornchurch, and I've actually spoken to one of the club members several times before, and I stood there and had a very long chat with him, so I'm sorry if I kept you too long. I know I can sometimes chat for England, but I love the fugas. We were talking about how easy they are to put together, and once you've done one, you just want to carry on doing them because fugas are so lovely here in Silver Swallow's scheme. And then we've got the Patrouille de France, which again I adore, and then we've got this Bangladeshi one, which I don't think I've really ever seen. What the hell is that colours? I love it so much. Moving on to IPMS Leicestershire then, and there was a boat on here that really got me out. I know you were thinking, Miss Modeler, are you ill? Are you unwell? No, I thought the boat looked absolutely exemplary, so you can see it there a little bit. Collection of various trains here. My friend was telling me all about them, but I had no idea. But they look amazing. Trains are not my strong point, however, I mean, we all know at this point that aircraft are my strong point. Also, that TSL2 looked amazing there. I wish I'd taken a proper picture of it, but unfortunately I didn't. But this Golden Hind is really what just, I don't know, it just looks amazing. Now, over at Letchworth, this is just a diorama heaven. There were so many things here that looked amazing. And there were some flat enamels as well. You can see a couple there. There were a few more further on that we'll see in a bit more detail. This is another instance where I couldn't quite get the whole display because there were people there and I didn't want to interrupt them. So we're just going to zoom in, but you'll get a picture of the diorama in the box as well. So this initially is from Somalia in 1920s. It's an air ambulance, whereas this is a call station for railways. This is one of the flat enamels that I was on about. Very camel themed, I've noticed this time. There you can see more up close with the text as well that accompanied that diorama. I tried to get it the best way I could in the video anyway. We're over to West Suffolk IPMS now, and I'm embarrassed to say that I think everything I actually end up showing as a picture I've actually already shown before, so this might be a bit of a repeat. I really apologise. It's hard to remember what I've seen all the time. So first up we have this Ukrainian tornado. I've definitely seen this before, I think. Or maybe it was a larger scale. This beautiful example of an Alpha jet in Luftwaffe service though, I think looked superb. And this Mitsubishi F2 loaded up and ready to go. And I think this is a Churchill. I think I'm starting to learn tanks. Maybe. Moving on to West Norfolk now. Another very professionally laid out display. Everything looks to have its place. I love that Supermarine attacker that's just sat there. And the TSL2 in its sort of development stages, it's amazing. You can see the new Austin as well from Airfix down there. We'll have a look at that in a bit more detail as well. So here's the new Austin in 1/35 scale, the Austin ambulance. Looks amazing, really well built. A Supermarine attacker, the weirdest aircraft tail dragging jet. And then these pair of airplanes, which I just thought were adorable. Like, oh, and this was really cool. This voluntary nurse from France in 1916. Just, the detail is just amazing. Following that, then we're over to IPMS Harrow. And the steampunk spider. I am very confused by it, but I love it. I don't know if this is a kit or whether this is a scratch build. I unfortunately didn't think enough to ask at the time, but in hindsight I wish I had because it looks superb. There's a little picture of it close up. I don't think it looks as lively in the picture though as it did in real life. It really did look like it had some movement to it. And this Kawasaki bike as well, the yellow looks stunning. Even on this as well, some people just are immaculate with yellow. I don't understand it. And of course a condor, because if it's a condor I'm going to take a picture of it. It's my videos, what do you think? Over to Barnet now, and Buccaneer front and centre. But I love these, I'm overwhelmed with cuteness at how these look. The mini aircraft just look adorable. I can't contain it. I really want to start doing them at that scale, but then I'm scared I'm going to get stuck in that scale and never go bigger ever again. But they look so adorable. They look amazing. And I know they're great for wargaming, so I think that's the scale that most of the wargaming's at as well for aircraft. Following that then, we're over to Finland and Spalding. What a bigger aircraft here. Again, the scales that I'm scared of. I probably shouldn't be, but I am. And again, a couple of airplanes and a lot of trucks, which it's nice to see because I feel like trucks are something that people build, but it's not very well represented at model shows. P-51 diorama here looked absolutely stunning, like immaculate. And I just wanted to take a picture of one of the trucks. You know, trucks representation. We're over to Clacton IPMS now. Very green themed with both their vehicles and their sort of chroma key green colour tablecloth. Don't get any ideas, no one chroma key that please. A couple of dioramas here that I thought looked really nice. I think again one of them I may have captured before now that I'm looking back at the footage, but we've got them. This soldier I thought just looked great. It's better than anything I've ever done at that scale. And this diorama, I just thought the height of it was really great because, you know, you don't often see height that well represented in dioramas. Following on from Clacton then, we've got Chiltern models display, and yeah, I mean, they pit their centerpiece in the center. They really did on this one, and it is probably my favorite one on there. I'm going to be really generic, but just seeing the Vulcan being refilled by the Victor, it looks amazing. The basing of it is really good as well, and just a French Hawk there as well, just for good measure. Now over to West Kent. I will say the only thing I didn't love about this was just that they have the West Kent signs just in front of it, and I know it's to stop people touching them, I guess, but it meant it was kind of really awkward to get photos of anything. It was right at the front, so I don't know if that's something you want to consider, maybe raising stuff instead. But this F-16 XL was really cool. I love the gradient on that, and an Avro Manchester, something you don't very often see, particularly with the middle tail fin in there as well. After that, we're at Cambridge MAF AV. Again, this is somewhere I'm really not in my comfort zone, but everything looked amazing. I mean, they always do, but those like minesweepers are what really took my fancy there. So we're going to see both of those, and just look, they look like they're moving. The mud on that looks like it's moving. You can't convince me otherwise. We're now at Unknown Club. The club owner was talking to someone. I didn't want to interrupt, so I'm really sorry if I don't know which club this is, but your Hastings is amazing. Hastings is one of my favourite aircraft, and AVC-10 in the sort of white original RAF Transport colours, again looking absolutely stunning there. We're now over to Chelmsford, and again their centrepiece was really big and bold, and this is a chain house radar. It's meant to be like a replica of like the last surviving one, I think. We're now actually upstairs at the venue, and the tables were weird. This is the only like really square table there. Everything else was round, but this is the Mirage SIG, of course. So everything here is going to be Dassault Mirage, whether it's a 2000 or an F1 like you're seeing there, or even the Kefir, which is the Israeli Industries version of it. Following that, we have this club, and I wasn't sure the name of this club. There was like a reference to a movie on there, but it didn't seem to all be themed around that, so I should have asked. I didn't. I'm really sorry. Bit of anxiety this day, so just tried to get through it a little bit. I really loved the Heinkel 170 there, and having built like one of the Finnish Blenheims, I really love your example there. This is East Kent scale modelers. See what I mean about the round tables? They're a bit weird, but you know, some of the clubs really made them work, and respect for that. I-16 here in Spanish Republican Air Force colours, and a Leonardo, formerly Aramaki M346 Master there of the Singapore Air Force. We arrived at Mildenhall now. Very packed display on this small circular display board. I think this is it Boeing Vatrals or Sea Knight that's got this really weird face on it at the centre that you're going to see. Obviously in a Japanese service there. And what we're seeing next I thought was a C-124 Globemaster 2, but in hindsight I don't think it actually is. With that confusion out of the way from my own mind, we're over to the car and motorcycle SIG. Really, really colourful. I love it. It's so cool. Drag racer in the middle. There's historic vehicles, there's modern vehicles, and although I know nothing about vehicles, I love this display. It was really cool. Picked out the two I like the most here, the Kellogg's car, as I'm calling it. I think it's a Chevrolet. And this one is Cartoon Network themed, which I just thought was really, really cool. Love it so much. We're over at Suffolk MAFVA now. So the second one I think we've seen today. And I think this might have the award for the cutest model at the show. I don't know if cutest is really the word I should be using, but this is at the Italian Army Fiat. It just looks amazing. So yeah, I think that's my cutest model at the show award. We're now heading over to another unnamed one. But they had some really interesting aircraft on there. I think that's an airplane Chengdu J20 on there. But the thing that caught my eye was this Fiat G55 over here, and the sort of splintery scheme that Italy had right at the end of sort of World War II. But enough about Italy, we're at the Japanese SIG. Anything and everything Japanese. You can see the Blue Impulse aircraft there that's screaming out to me. It is very obvious in the sea of green and white that's over there. This was really well done though. I really loved how it really felt like it was flying. And say Blue Impulse F-86 here. But next to it was the Fujimi T-1, which was Japan's first jet-powered trainer aircraft. And now over to Sprues and Stuff, which is my friend's table, but not playing any favourites. I took pictures of just whatever I liked on there. I try to be as fair as I possibly can when I'm doing all my photos and everything else. MiG-21 fishband of the Indian Air Force there, and a Saab Lanson, which I think is a truly gorgeous aircraft. Really, I think it's one of the aircraft that looks better than Hunter maybe. A couple of trains on here as well, because Marcus is really trying to just expand what they're doing, and apparently this is the castle that features in Chi Chi Bang Bang, which just gives me nightmares. One of my all-time favourite SIGs at every single show is 144 scale SIG. Everything on here is 1/144 scale, and I just absolutely love it. There's always something different, always something a bit more unique that's on here every single show, and it didn't disappoint me this time either. Massive, massive display for such a tiny scale. It was awesome to see it all. I do think I've got pictures of things that I have seen before. I'm not sure about those Airfix ones though, whether or not I've captured those before, so we'll have a look at those a bit closer up so that you can see them. But I'm really not sure I have seen them before actually, because just look how adorable it is. It's like they replicated the box art, but they're small. Okay, I take it back. This is the cutest bit of the show. Oh, it's so adorable. I'm sorry, I'm going so high pitch. It's so cute. Okay, calming down. We're at the card model group, and I mean, the clue is in the name, guys. Card model group. This is something I've actually always been fascinated by, and I've never actually seen examples in person, so I'm really, really glad that this was here, because it's something I've wanted to try, and something that after seeing these, I'm a lot more tempted to try, because honestly, these look amazing. Like, I mean, the buildings I think look more rudimentary compared to some of the aircraft, but I imagine some of them are probably more scratch built, whereas like the tanks, the planes, they just look like models. It's really mind-altering. This is Norfolk scale model group we're at now though. A lot of more sort of sci-fi alternative history on here, which is always a pleasure to see. I think I was actually really boring with what I took a picture of though, which I'm a bit disappointed in myself with. Just took this IL-2 on skis. Don't know, at the time it felt like the right decision. Probably wasn't, but at least we got Mad Maxi Furry Road. Oh my god. So yeah, really lovely display though. Now over to the AAA and classic British jet SIG. I think it's everything that we're seeing. Again, a really massive display if it's all of the tables that we're seeing. Because there's this section here which looks like the classic British section, and then we've got this section over here which I think is just more generalised airliners or AAA. This, obviously the pink one really caught my fancy there from, is it Count? Next to it though we had the Great War Special Interest Group, and really somber display. Particularly I thought it was really lovely that at the front they had a tribute to the Ukrainian crisis, or the invasion of Ukraine that's happening at the moment, in the form of this Fokker DR1 that they rescued and turned to this. I thought that was actually a really lovely touch, to be honest. This is the under new management SIG. I don't know why it took me so long to work that out when I was at the show. I was like, UNM? I was like, oh, under new management. And it makes sense. So it's basically any aircraft or vehicle that's changed hands. So you can see the Stukas here. There were two that I've got the main example of, because I don't think I've shown them before. Both in RAF, one from former Italy, one is former Luftwaffe. We're now over to the Mediterranean Theatre of Operations SIG. Try saying that after you've had a couple of glasses of wine. I don't think you'll be able to. Again, really lovely display, really well set out, a lot of history on display, but of course the brightest BA65 is what took my fancy, because Italian, and the CR42 behind it next to the Gloucester Gladiator also just looks amazing. South Atlantic SIG here though, and yeah, Falklands tribute this year. I think it's the 40th anniversary of the Falklands War, and that's what this SIG really just focused on, and it's a really lovely display actually. This Gazelle I just thought looks really cute. I love the Gazelle, I mean, who doesn't? And then another VC10, again in the older RAF Transport colours. The legend that is the Nimrod, that should never have been cancelled if you ask me. Now the Submarine Warfare Special Interest Group, and again, an area that I have no knowledge on, and I'm 100% happy to say I have no knowledge on, because it means I get to be stunned by beautiful submarines or U-boats like this one, a German type 23, I can't read that, and also this Japanese submarine which looks amazing. It looks ferocious. After that though, we're at Donut Models. Love the name. And again, another Swift example, popping its head up there. This seems quite popular at the moment, I don't really know why. Such an obscure aircraft, but they really made the circle work for them, which I guess is in the name. The Soviet version of the Harry here, the Yak 38, and a tribute to the myth that's the Ghost of Kiev, which is so important to highlight that visibility right now. I think I called this a 3005 earlier rather than a C3605, but never mind. We're now over to Newark's display. This is our penultimate display, guys, so get ready. We are approaching the end quite rapidly at this point. That's a Bismarck gun at the back, I think, if I remembered, or if I heard correctly. And this P51 on the sort of old magazine layout, I just thought looked really, really great. And this was another contender for cutest model, but didn't quite make the cut. I'll give it a bronze though. Finally, it's the Tornado SIG. I don't think I'd ever join a group that's just dedicated to one aircraft, but you know what? They managed to get a lot of colours and a lot of different schemes, because the Tornado had such a long and established service life that it flew under many different paints. But I think that's about it today. I've literally just finished the show, and hopefully this is going to be the end of the video as well. I had an absolute blast. Fantastic show, so congratulations to the host, because it was awesome. I really enjoyed it. There's a really good mix of vendors and sellers and lots of different displays. It was really, really good, and enough space for anyone to get around. Bar and catering on site as well. Didn't use the catering, but I did get a Pepsi, so that was good. And yeah, got treated to a late birthday present from Marcus, so thank you for that. And yeah, you can see my haul after the videos. There's not a lot in the haul, but there's some bangers. So yeah, thank you so much for watching, guys. Love you all. Bye. Thanks for watching the video. I really appreciate it. Hit the subscribe button and notification bell to be notified of every new video on Mondays. You'll also be able to see me stream live on YouTube. Thanks again. I really appreciate it. Have fun modelling.